Okay, hello, guys. Welcome back. Took a day off yesterday, but I'm trying to crank through the rest of these videos over the next couple of days. I really want to get this thing out to you guys, so working like a madman. Having a little bit of trouble sleeping. I'm so excited. So here we go. So we're just going to jump straight into it. So this one here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through the rules again from the first video on this one. Rule number one. Search through the comments on YouTube, Rumble, or wherever you're at and see if your question has already been answered. If not, then I can answer it. If you want to put comments on there, go for it. I just may never respond. I need to, like I said before, after this, I'm fucked. I have to figure out a way to, I'm not going to hire people. I'm not going to do AI. I'm not doing any of that shit. We're just going to keep installing different types of systems until, at some point, maybe I'll get some sexy assistant and I'll put her in a short skirt and heels. That'd be pretty awesome, actually. Any ladies who want to do that, you can volunteer or let me know. I'll probably need you at some point. Let's see. And I'll try my best to answer the comments. I like this idea. Everyone will be able to see it, and we will be able to help everybody. Anyone being mean or rude in any way will be permanently banned forever. There will be no petitions. There will be no questions, nothing. It'll be permanent for life, end of story. If you would like to challenge me for some reason, or if you want to post information that you feel maybe, whatever, you need to do it in an extremely kind and helpful way. And the only thing I'm going to say to you, if you challenge me in any way, is where are your videos at? Why aren't you teaching people this? I'm going to immediately attack you. And so many times I've done that people just don't challenge me anymore. Because as soon as I ask you that, and then your lawsuits are bullshit. Okay, where's your lawsuits? Show me where's your cause numbers? Oh, well, you look like a fucking idiot. It's the easiest thing in the world to completely obliterate. You guys think I'm going to go on the defensive? I have a number one rule. Let me tell you my number one rule, and it's a rule that served me really, really well, and I think it's a rule that can serve you really, really well. I never allow someone else's emotional instability or ignorance to put me on the defensive. Think about that. Someone says, "Oh, you're a blah blah," and you go, "No, I'm not." It's like, bro, why would someone else's instabilities, emotional instabilities, or ignorances cause you to be on the defensive? If you're on the defensive, that means they're on the offensive. Ignorance can't hurt me. Stupidity can't hurt me. It's like someone with Down syndrome going, you're like, well, no, you really shouldn't move your arms that way. It doesn't make any sense to me, just logically. Okay, so these haters think they're going to affect me. Bro, my haters are just free advertising people. They're like people in, they're like sign flippers on the side of the road in costume. Yo, check it out. Check out this guy over here. That's all. I mean, they're just free sign flippers. Okay. So anyone being mean or rude, let's see here. You don't pay me for this. So why you think your opinion matters or anything you have to say matters doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even want your money. So I'm not even sure. Even if you wanted to pay me, I'm going to make that probably pretty challenging. Typically, I make it very, very difficult to give me any currency because then there's obligations attached with that I don't need or want. So good luck if you're looking to hire me. We'll get into that at the end of the course. I don't want to talk about that now because if you haven't finished the entire course and you haven't taken action, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm definitely not going to take any of your currency. If you want to hire me for anything, you're going to need to go through the whole course. You're going to need to do a whole bunch of shit. We're going to have multiple phone conversations with myself and Joey Kimbrough and if there's anybody else that's going to be involved. And it's like a month to 2 month process before I'm going to take any of your fucking currency. So if you think I'm just going to be as easy to hire as everybody else out there and I want your money and I'm just going to suck dick for fucking dumbass green Federal Reserve note, promissory note, negotiable instrument pieces of shit, you got another thing coming, brother, because that's not how I operate at all, okay? And if you pretend that that's upsetting to you or if you get offended by the fact that I won't take your currency, I just block you. Do that all the time. Hey, man, I want to hire you. Okay, here's the website. Do all this and do all this and do all this. No, I want to hire you. I'm going to repeat it one more time. And if you come back to me again and you repeat that again, you will be blocked. Oh, you're a fucking prick and blah, blah, blah. Block. It's really easy. I mean, my life is stress-free, bro. Okay. one thing I wanted to cover here, this middle point here. I'm going to give probably all the videos out to my current lists in one shot because I can't. My email program, MailChimp, if I do 40,000 emails a day for 30 days, I don't think the system can even handle that. I'm probably going to just give out all the links. So I ask you guys, so look, I don't have any issues on any social medias with throttling or shadow banning or deplatforming or anything like that, okay? But I'm a man with contingencies. I'm a man with lots of backup plans typically, right? So I've been building email lists way longer than I did this for businesses and working email lists, and I've read books and books on how to work email lists and build email lists and build a brand and build a community. I like the fact that everyone signed up for my email list, and I try to release once a week. I try to release new things and updates and cool stuff that people send me, and I try to do one update video a week, which I've done pretty well for I think like a year and a half, something like that. So if you could get, if I send out all the links and you got this link somehow through email or someone sent you the link, I would appreciate it if you were actually signed up to my email list. Even though you will get the videos one per day for a series of days, you'll also get the once a week. And then if anything happens to my platform anywhere, let's say I lose my Facebook for some reason, I don't know, I want to have that email list. That email list is the most important thing, and I want to keep building that and keep building. There's about 40,000 people on there right now, but I clean the shit out of it all the time. There's probably 100 to 120,000, and I've just cleaned it and cleaned it and cleaned it and cleaned it, and I have a whole process that I do. It's very funny. You guys will see it if you're on my social media. I don't like having big, huge lists with low. If it goes below like a 70% open rate, I start getting angry and I start cleaning the list. Okay, so that's how I roll with that. So if you could be signed up for the list, I'd have all your friends sign up for the list. That way, just in case anything happens, I have a contact with all you guys. I would appreciate that. I think that's important. And let's see here. I don't do anything with the email list. We already went over that, so don't email me about it, about any bullshit about missed emails or anything. I don't deal with that. I don't even, like I said, I don't want your currency. I don't want your bullshit. If you get messages, somebody about crypto or whatever, that's not me. Trust me. Go ahead and send a message on my WNW. And just go ahead and test me if you want to, and you'll see. I don't give a fuck. I may not even respond. I may just respond with a bunch of links to videos. If it doesn't say, hey, I have $14 million in real estate, and I want to pay you $2 million to start suing all of the litigation companies right away. Plus, I've done all the course. Plus, I've already done my passport. Plus, I've already done my revocation of election. Plus, I've already done all the stuff with my car, gotten rid of my license. I went and changed my social security number status. I'm an entrepreneur. I have 6 businesses. I have a wife. I have 4 kids. See, now when I start seeing all of that, I'm like, now that is probably what's going to get me to email you back. But people send me emails like, hey, how can I have a $5,000 credit card or a $500,000 in loans and all. I don't give a fuck, dude. You can't hire me for that. I need to see so much more than that. I need to see that you have done a bunch of stuff, that you've gone through the course, that you're ready to go to battle for a year or two on all this litigation. You have to be excited about it. You can't have people around you, worry little bitches around you. My Williams and Williams page, which I'll show you, goes into how to hire me, Williams and Williams law firm, right? How litigation works. This goes over it. There's going to be a huge down payment, which as of this day is somewhere around $120,000 to $300,000. That's going to be a donation. And then we split the winnings 50-50. People say, oh, can I skip the down payment? Absolutely fucking not. If you ask me that, I will be blocking you. The answer is a extremely strong fuck you no. You fucking retard. It's 120 to 300,000, and that's as of now. I actually increased the price quite a bit because too many people were saying yes. If too many people start saying yes, I increase the prices until people start saying no. And that comes straight from Dan Pena. Okay? So I start getting lots of yeses, which I was getting for a while. It was like 100,000 or 120,000. People were saying yes, yes, yes. So I upped it to 160. I upped it to 120 to 300. And then people started saying no. And I was like, yes, perfect. So after this 2.0 course, we'll probably get lots of people saying yes to this. And then after that, it'll go to 200 to 400,000. And then people will start saying yes to that. And then we're going to go, and then it's going to be 500,000 just to call me at some point. That's probably where things are going to go. Okay? And I do that to protect my time so that I can continue to do my research and continue to give away this information for free. If I don't do this, you'll never see me again. So there's people out there who are like, oh, this pricing's insane. Blah, blah. I price for the market, bro. I am 100% market-based pricing. If for some reason I got enough money to last me years and years and years, let's say 3, 4, it's never going to happen, but let's just say worst case scenario, 4 years from now, I haven't made $1 for 4 years. At that point, you're going to see this go down. This price is going to go down. That's never going to happen, by the way. You know that. I know that. This price is never going to go down. This price is only going up, and it's probably going to be going up very rapidly, just so you guys know. So, and I say that sort of as a sales pitch, but not really. I'm being honest with you. I mean, and it is kind of a weird sales pitch because if you're like, oh shit, I better get on the train now. As soon as you get on the train, the price is going up. So fully market-based pricing. Okay, let's see here. I don't care about your bullshit about my prices. You want to complain and moan and bitch. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. I love listening to you fucking weaklings bitch and moan and cry. It's like your tears become lube for my fucking jerking off. Feels so good. Better than any lube I could ask for. Let's see here. Let's make sure we don't have anything else that I wanted to go over here in this midway-ish point on the course. Does this work in blah, blah, blah country? I don't know. I don't care. Don't ask me. You figure it out. And then come tell me. If you love this info, please share it. That is the best thing you can do, please. And that looks like everything. So let's get into the video here. What was that, 12 minutes? Something like that? Okay, good. Okay. Here we go. Video number, where are we? Video number 11? Is that where we're at? Yeah, I think we're on video number 11. Now, I was going to do a whole bunch of little videos here. I've decided that is going to slow down the pace of the course too much, so I am going to do a whole bunch of videos all in one here. And we're just going to put a whole bunch of smaller sections all in one video. I don't want you guys having to wait 4 days for this. So let's just we're going to do a whole bunch of shit. Social Security, land patents, which I don't know a lot about, deeds, titles, marriage license, mail, and then common misconceptions and problems. Okay? Let's do it. So first and foremost, if you look at the old Social Security cards from the first version from 1935, 1936, 1937, and I think 1938, you have here employee signature, which is kind of strange. Employee of what? And then you have account number. So this is an account number that's been established for a person whom of which is an employee. Employee of what? Okay. You go online, you type in, is Social Security an account number? It says no. And then it goes into some stuff. And then there's this website here, the story of the Social Security number. And it's this long thing, right? I don't know. At its inception, the SSN's only purpose was to uniquely identify U.S. workers. all U.S. workers are government workers. So I guess the employee moniker means government employee. I don't know. I would imagine most of this is probably, propaganda. But the last four are the serial number, group number, area number. There's probably some good info in here that you could glean. But, I mean, the old things, they tell the story. And then they took that account number off there, right? And now it just says, the number has been established for whatever U.S. citizen, which means government employee. So obviously it's a government employee-based thing, right? So real quick, there's a statute I wanted to show you guys, and then we'll get into how to change all this information. There's a statute which is 42 USC 408. And if you go down and it says here, subsection, let me see. I might pause the video if I can't rapidly find this. Oh, here it is, number 8. So it'd be A8, 42 USC 402 A8. Discloses, uses, or compels the disclosure of the Social Security number of any person. So what that means is no one can force you or compel you to disclose the Social Security number. It's not yours anyways. I mean, the word yours is kind of an interesting word. Yours could mean like, do you control it, right? Like, is this your car? And you just happen to be like renting it, and you would say yes, which you don't own it. You're controlling it, right? So when they say what is your Social Security number, that wouldn't be ownership where it's you as a person. That would be control, right? You control that particular Social Security number on behalf of the all caps ens legis, the entity, right? So but the problem is that your, is a bit tricky. And then you also have the other idea of, actually, this is interesting. Let me pause this video for just a second here. So real quick, I had to get a book to find this for you because I got excited about this. So let's do a little shout out here real quick for a guy named Jaleel Bey. He's also wonderful. I didn't mention him in the earlier video because it just seemed like maybe a bit of a far-fetched thing. But here's his book, Land of the Free, Home of the Slave. He has some other books as well. He specializes in what's called adverse possession. And on Instagram, he is Moorish Lighthouse _official. Okay? And adverse possession is where you basically like... all of law is based off of claims. So one person claims something, the other person claims something, and then now you have a justiciable controversy. You got to figure it out, right? If one person claims something and no one else does, you can just take possession of literally anything you want. And that's how old homesteading worked. You're walking along with your family through a bunch of grass, and you say, well, this looks nice. Boom. And you put your little flag down, and you say, I claim this, and no one else does, and then boom, it's yours. So people complain, squatters' rights, right? If someone else has to claim it too. If you claim it and no one else claims it, it's yours. And that's the process of adverse possession in a nutshell, right? So getting from his book here is a reference, because I was looking for it. I couldn't find it easily, right? So something that's pretty shocking, if you go to 20 CFR 422.104, who can be assigned a Social Security number? A United States citizen, an alien lawfully admitted to the United States for permanent residence, an alien who cannot provide evidence of alien status, blah, 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 blah. So that's why you're going to see on the form I'm going to show you here in a second, a non-citizen national is not part of this list. And that's why you won't see non-citizen national on the list. But it has to be some sort of entity or business or corporation or something in order to get a Social Security number. So That's why the word your is kind of complicated, because you actually can't physically have one. If you look at this list, you wouldn't meet any of these points. So you literally cannot be assigned a Social Security number. It's physically impossible. This also is part of the whole authorized signature and all that kind of bullshit, which, let me see if I can find that real quick. Your signature. That's funny. Your signature. Okay. So we'll get into that in a moment. So if you look here, this is pretty shocking now. The word you is a specially defined word here. You can see because they blew it out and underline it, right? This special definition comes from 20 CFR 422.402. If I click on it, you'll see 20 CFR 422.402 on the upper right. You means an individual who owes a debt to the United States within the scope of this subpart. So you have to be a debtor of the United States in order to qualify for a Social Security number. And in order to be a debtor of the United States, you have to be some sort of entity or corporation underneath the United States, which would be a United States citizen, an alien lawfully admitted to the, because they're all persons. Legal fictions are persons. When they redefine the word person to include legal fictions is when they created this whole confusing nightmare, right? You see all these words and you think you and person and alien, and they're referring to legal fictions as persons. That's all they're talking about. It's very simple, okay? So whoever has the Social Security number is someone who owes a debt to the United States. Which I'm not going to get into all that. This is a deep rabbit hole that so many people love to go down and get lost in for ages and ages and ages and ages and ages. And I did too for a little while, and then I just realized it's so fucking complicated, and no one's having literally any success with any of this whole like secret account. I tried to send in all sorts of things to try to access this secret account and all this stuff. The only success we ever had was using... what was it? I think it was using the routing number of the public debt or the treasury or something like that, and then doing the account number was 000 and then the social. And certain banking institutions like Capital One, we were able to get them to we go online, type in that information, make a payment, or maybe it was the Federal Reserve was the account number or the routing number. So the Federal Reserve or the U.S. Treasury or something like that. I forget what it was. 000 and then the social, and then they would actually send you a clean title, and then they would chase after you, and we would just sell the cars. we did tons of cars. I personally know of like 80 or 90 or 100 cars we do with that. The problem is it's just not. There was no pattern to it. There was no. There was nothing. I mean, I've gotten. When we get into infinite money later in this course, it's way more clear. We have all the information. We can build out evidence. We can do litigation. It's way better. It's a way better choice. Before in the first course, I was teaching about the Social Security account, the secret Social Security account, the 3 zeros, and then the account number. And I was talking about the 1099A and 1099C forms. I don't do any of that shit anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. There are a lot of people out there that are messing with all that. I've seen a little bit of success from a few people, but it's just not stable. It's way too complicated. It's like crazy. I don't want to have anything to do with it, and I assure you, if you stick with the Uniform Commercial Code Article 3 and you stick with the stuff that the direction I'm going, you will have more patternization. It'll be more stable, it's more grounded, and you will have more success, and it's something you can work towards rather than just being stuck in this dark forest or whatever it is that you have no idea where anything is, okay? So I recommend that you stay away from a lot of this stuff. You can learn it and you can find it to be fascinating, but to really get lost down the IRS forms and the Social Security rabbit hole, which the IRS forms and Social Security rabbit hole claims a lot of lives, man. claims a lot of lives. A lot of people go down, not literally, not like death, but they just get lost, and then they just get lost forever, and then they either give up or they're just literally lost forever. And I was starting to go down that path myself, and then thank God I corrected myself and got out of that. So I would not recommend that right now. Maybe in the way future, at some point in time, we can start suing the Social Security Administration and go to discovery, and we can start digging through the Social Security Act and all that, and like really kind of figure out how it all works and what it all is, and really get to the bottom of it. But for right now, I don't think you should go there. I think it's a big waste of your time and energy. And I was gonna go over that later in the common misconceptions, right? Yeah, stick with negotiable instruments, right? There's a couple other things I'll go over with you a little later in this video, right? But 1099-A forms, did a lot of stuff with that, never went anywhere. I don't recommend that you do anything with those. I've heard a little bit of success here and there, but it's just not worth it. It's just totally not going to be worth your time. It's not stable. It's not something that I can pin down. So I wouldn't recommend that you go in that direction, okay? So going back to Social Security, so what I did was I sent this first mailing, and you can see that I did this this is old style. This is back in 11/13/22, okay? I sent a Polaroid of me in a pickle outfit to my Social Security trustee because I was trying to change my account from U.S. citizen to other. You'll see on this form, this is the SS5. This is what you fill out to change your status at the Social Security Administration. I put Indiana Republic for the state or foreign country. You can see here, what is your citizenship? U.S. citizen, legal alien allowed to work, legal alien not allowed to work, or other. And the lady at the counter said that other is typically for refugees and asylees. And I said, well, that one's probably the one that's the closest to my situation, so I checked that one. Are you Hispanic or Latino? Your response is voluntary. Select one or more. Your response is voluntary. I selected American Indian and white. Male. They haven't gone woke yet over there. Mom social or unknown. Dad social or unknown. Has the person listed in item 1 or anyone acting on his or her behalf ever filed for or received a Social Security number card before? That's tricky, right? Name on card, today's date, phone number, and then my address, mailing address. And then I put other. I put beneficiary, without prejudice, by Brandon Joe Williams Benny. And then you can see here. So what happened was I sent this first letter. Okay. I've changed my status to national of the United States, blah, blah, blah. I have attached a passport application as well as an explanatory statement. I know it's fun and silly, but I always include Polaroids. Please change my Social Security account from U.S. citizen to other and send me some kind of receipt that's been done. Very, very simple. Just a little bit of info here. And then the notary, right? And they said, no, we can't do that. You need to come in because we can't identify you, or something like that. Or they said, we don't understand, or something. So I sent them a second one. This was February 5th of 2023. So that was like 3 or 4 months later, right? It was a pretty similar thing. Thanks to my amazing Social Security trustee. That's me in a pickle outfit on a staircase with a heart, okay? And then here's the back side of that. I appreciate all your help. The first Polaroid they kept. The second Polaroid they actually sent back to me, which I thought was kind of funny. And then that's when I went physically into the Social Security Administration. I think I went in physically after the first mailing, and then I went in physically again after the second mailing. So it was like mailing, go in, mailing, go in, something like that, right? And the second time I went in, she took all my papers into the back. I had a huge stack of papers, and she spent like 20 minutes scanning everything, and then she came back out, and she was really weird about the whole thing, like obviously some sovereign citizen, whatever the fuck she's thinking, right? And so at the very end of the conversation, she said, we've scanned all your documents and we're not going to process your SS5 or whatever it was, right? And that's when I got pretty mad. Up to that point, I had been very calm. We had done a lot of cool things, or we had talked about a lot of things, and I had done taken in a ton of evidence and stuff from USCIS, and I took in my once you get your passports, let me just show you this. Once you get your passport back from the passport agency, you can, let me find this real quick for you. Step-by-step guide, right? Go down here. You can, I might pause the video here if I can't find this. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. Once you get your non-citizen national passport, what you want to do is you want to request a certified copy of your passport records through a FOIA request. Write an affidavit requesting certified copies of the passport records. And include this information, and then you're going to include a $50 check made out to the Department of State, and then here's the mailing address. So you're going to get this cool-ass thing back, and it's going to have like this little brass circle thing that holds all the papers together, and it has all your filled out, signed, and processed passport documents and any attachments and anything else in your file. If you want to get that, it takes a while. It takes like 2 or 3 months. If you get that, I took that in. I took everything. I'm not going to show you that because it would require me to do like tons of editing to clean up the document with all information on it. But you can send that in. I mean, really, it's just your DS11 form with the markings that the post office attendant put on there on the bottom of the pages, and then maybe like a little bit of additional information. It depends on. I haven't seen too many of them. So what I did was I got pissed at the Social Security Administration agent lady, and there's like a bulletproof glass, and I pulled up 18 USC 911 on my phone, and I raised my voice because I had already been there twice, and I had already sent in documents twice, and I said, "Listen, lady," I said, I can't have this account say that I'm a fucking U.S. citizen. If it says that, then it's a felony, and I'm not going to fucking prison for 3 years. You're going to fucking prison for 3 years. And I pushed 18 USC 911 up against the window, and I scared the fuck out of this lady. And I said, now what needs to happen is you need to stamp and process this SS5 right now. Otherwise, as per 18 USC 4, 18 USC 4, misprision, I think this is pronunciation, whoever having knowledge of the actual commission of a felony cognizable by a court of the United States conceals and does not as soon as possible make known the same to some judge or person in civil or military authority under the United States shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 3 years or both. I said, as per 18 USC 4, it's a felony for me not to report you committing a felony. I said, now you either process this document right now or I'm reporting you for a felony violation of 18 USC 911 up to 3 years in prison. And I was very kind up until that point, and she was treating me like shit. And at that point, she got very nervous. She said, give me the document. I gave her the document. She stamped this stamp, Glendale, Calif, February 15th, 2023, SSA District Office. She stamped this on the document, handed it back to me. As far as I'm concerned, this is all I need. This is all I need. If I ever get in any trouble or if anything ever happens in the future with my Social Security, even if she never processed this document, that's okay. I have evidence of the fact that I did request this and I got the stamp and I was told it was going to be done. So I will submit this evidence into the court if I ever have any issues. Okay. I just realized on the screen there, you probably can't see the bottom left. Let me see if I can move this around a little bit for you. Here we go. Maybe that'll be better. So hopefully you can see that. Let me just move it over a little bit more just in case. I'm going to move it all the way. Let's just see here. So you can see, what is this? Okay. Glendale, comma, Caliph, February 14th, 2023, SSA District Office. Here's my signature without prejudice by Brandon-Joe, Williams, comma, Benny, B-E-N-E, beneficiary, and then I put beneficiary here. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I don't know if I'd fill it out differently or put agent maybe. I don't know. But it's other and then agent. I mean, it's a pretty simple form, honestly. So this is what I got processed. Okay. It's not a big deal. The SSA, as far as I know, has nothing to do with you. It's full-blown ens legis material. So you don't need to disclose it. You don't need to talk about it. It ain't really yours. You are not a debtor. I don't know who this debtor is. It's this other guy. I don't know who he is. So you know, if you don't really want to have anything to do with it, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you can just kind of get that SS5 process and just kind of forget about it. I'm not even 100% sure it even matters to even go in there and do it. I mean, I would, just because I'm a big proponent of everywhere that you can go in and clean up these contracts. You should. That way, there's no confusions in the future in case anyone wants to pull any horse shit. I like there being no chinks in the armor, no possibility of there being chinks in the armor. And as far as I'm concerned, if in my opinion, every single thing you've ever dealt with, every single agency you've ever dealt with, every single everything you've ever done anything with, every single one of them should get some kind of a cleanup affidavit, update affidavit, novation. I was wrong on this, new forms, whatever it is. And most of it's very, very simple. Getting rid of your driver's license takes about 5 minutes. Changing your Social Security Administration status takes about 5 minutes if they're not going to be dicks like they were with me. You know, a lot of these things are very, very easy, very, very simple to do. So it's not overwhelming. You should not feel overwhelmed by this. It's extremely, extremely simple. They could have the application SS5 could be 400 pages like they do with everything else, and it could be all these different things and all this different stuff. And the reason why they don't do that is because they want to make it easy for people to get driver's licenses. They want to make it easy for people to get Social Security numbers. That's why you're never going to see those systems get too complex on the front end. They want it to be ultra, ultra, ultra easy so everyone gets one and no one gives up during the process. Okay, so the next thing I want to go over with you guys, we're going to go on to the next video here. We're going to do a whole bunch of smaller subjects here. So land patents. Okay, I don't know a lot about land patents. I've seen some. I've read some. You want to go to, let me just close out some of these windows. All these windows. Let's close out all these windows. And then we're going to go to, let's close this window. And then we're going to go to Ron Gibson, right? Land patents. He has a book. You can see it literally right here. First thing that popped up. Ron Gibson, land patent guy. He knows a lot about this. Okay. He's got books and courses. He'll even help you personally. He's an old school guy. He does it a lot of stuff over the phone and by mail and stuff. He's not big on cell phones and texting, and I've tried to get him on my show, and it was a bit difficult because he's not very computer friendly. He is not a big fan of computers, so just keep that in mind. But he's a great guy. I've heard nothing but good things about him for a long time. He has books. He has presentations. He has all sorts of good stuff, right? The BLMGLO lookup. Okay. This is how simple it is. The Bureau of Land Management is literally a part of the U.S. Department of the Interior, which is what I showed you earlier when we went to Department of the Interior. When we went to this website, remember this way back, and we went to here, and we went to About, and then I showed you this section, honors our nation-to-nation relationships with tribes, and I was like, oh my God, nation-to-nation, right? It's the same department. Department of the Interior. Same department, Bureau of Land Management, right? Now what you're going to do here is, this is an entire massive online database, and they changed the URL recently, so don't go off the URL. I would go and actually search on Google or whatever to find it, right? So the land catalog application allows the public to search for patents, surveys, land status records, CDI documents, and LR 2000 case recording and land status reports associated with specific townships. It looks like these are the only places that you can get this information in. I'm not totally sure. I could be wrong. I know some states and stuff you can't get information. Like Texas is super weird. I know you can't get a lot of info on this website for Texas, right? So you may have to dig deeper on this. I haven't done much with this over the last 2 years, guys. I just don't, search documents. You can go to, let's say, California. County is loading. Okay, let's go to county, Los Angeles County. Okay. And then we're going to click search, right? And you can see here we've got names, plots of land, locations, county. I don't know too much about this, but we're going to click on this image picture on the left. And you can see here, it's pretty fucking cool, man. I think this is pretty cool, right? You can download a digital copy for free, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. This is from 1914. Yeah, see, this is so cool. Look at this. This is a certificate of register of the land. So this is basically a land patent. Official information on the plot of land signed by Franklin D. Roosevelt. And you can literally click one fucking button and you can download this document. And there you go. It's that easy. Totally free. And now you can, as far as I know, the land patent process, just to keep it really simple, you're going to take all the previous quitclaim deeds and you're going to make a whole summary of all the ownership over the years, spreading all the way back as like a timeline, all the way back to this original patent, which you don't even need certified copies. But if you want certified copies, you can go back to the website and you can go up top and you can go to add certified copy to cart. It's like $6, dude. It's not complicated. This is easy. You're going to make and I'm just giving you a brief, somewhat knowledgeable idea on the process. I'm not going to pretend as though I know much about this process because I've never done one. I try to only teach things to you guys in great detail of things that I've done and that I feel comfortable with. Ron Gibson's done 1 million of these. I think he's like $1,500 to pay to have him help you, which is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Why he charges such a low amount of money is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. But anyways, he can help you. And his book can also help you do it. It's pretty simple. So what is a quitclaim? Well, let's just start here. What is a deed, right? A legal document that transfers ownership of an asset, such as property or a vehicle, from one person to another. The person selling the property is the grantor, and the new owner is called the grantee. Deeds can be voluntary or involuntary, such as in the case of a foreclosure sale. Very simple. So what is a title? What is the difference between a title and a deed? That might be interesting. What's that say? Title refers to the ownership of something. For example, a job title means that you have ownership over your role and specific set of responsibilities. You can also think of the word entitle, where you have ownership or control over something. In real estate, that something is property. By holding a title to a home, you have legal rights, ownership, control, and responsibility, right? A deed, so titles are transferred by deeds. A deed is the actual legal document that would transfer the ownership title of a property from one person to another. A deed is signed by the person selling or transferring the property rights, called the grantor. The person purchasing or taking possession of the property rights is called the grantee. Simple enough, right? Super simple. I didn't know this up until more recently, right? So deed shows an actual exchange. Title just shows ownership. Deed transfers a title. So this is very simple, guys. Okay. So what is a quitclaim deed? A legal document that transfers a property's title from one person to another without any warranties or amendments. So it's an unconditional deed that releases something. So like you see a lot of properties when you build out your summary and your history and your timeline of everything that happened throughout all of time, all the way down through your land patent, you're going to be using quitclaim deeds to show when one person gave up the property to another as a quitclaim deed, which then produced a new title with the new person's name on it. And then they released a quitclaim deed, which produced a new title with the new name on it, etc., all the way down the timeline. And you can get a lot of that information from your county recorder or wherever. I'm not too sure exactly where. I think that's where Ron Gibson would come in. I think a lot of that information is very easy and very cheap to access for your property, so don't worry about that too much. But it's going to require very little. I promise you, most likely, you're not looking at a lot of work here, guys. Grantor deed, I think is another one. I forget. And this is just a legal document that transfers real estate from the current owner to the new owner. That's it. So I don't even know what is the difference between a grantor deed and quitclaim deed. Grant deed and then a quitclaim deed. So here's the differences. Here's the differences here and here. It looks like I'm not going to read all this. I just don't care enough to even. So you guys can get into this more and blah blah blah. But anyways, you're going to get all these. You're going to get the land patent. You're going to file it all in, and then I think you have to make a claim. And then you wait like 30 or 60 days for anybody else to stop you from that claim, which no one will. And then at that point, you file it all into the county recorder or something like that. And then what's going to happen? Here's the problem. And I've heard a lot of stories about this. You do the land patent, you send it to the county, and the county just ignores you. So yes, this land patent process is correct. Yes, everything about it is proper, legally correct. I am a big fan of Ron Gibson, even though I've barely talked to the guy and I haven't read much of his stuff. I know from a lot of third-party interaction, which oftentimes is actually even a better indicator. We're talking hundreds of people have told me that this dude is awesome. He cares. He's a great guy. He's very knowledgeable, and what he does works. The problem is that it works. Not the problem. It's not a problem. It's just like anything else. So many people say they want the paperwork to do all the work. No, that's not how any of this works. If you're not going to kick in their doors and windows and burn the whole goddamn building to the ground, who knows if anything's going to work? I don't know if the revocation of elections pretty. I've never had a problem with that. But I'm just saying, what if one day the IRS starts getting a bit cantankerous about the revocation of election? I don't know. It works now super easily. Passport works pretty easily. They're starting to get a little bit trickier with it. The bottom line is nothing just works because you put shit on a piece of paper and you send it in. You understand the information. You understand the definitions of the words. You make a decision. You say, I'm going to file a land patent. And then now you commit yourself to your intent. That means that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if 1,000 people, if the whole UN army fucking tries to stop you from doing it, that's irrelevant. That has nothing to do with anything. You decided you're going to get a land patent done, so you're going to learn the information. And as far as I'm concerned, the most important thing about clearing an intent and getting an intent to be very, very strong and having a lot of internal focus and really being strong with the commitment of your intent is to make sure that you understand all the definitions of all the words. If you understand all the definitions of all the words, as far as I'm concerned, no one can stop you. It's a physical impossibility, okay? So just as far as I'm concerned, make sure you understand all the definitions of the words, go through the land patent process, but I'm telling you, you should be filing FOIA requests. You should be sending the county letters and stuff, maybe even while you're doing that. And then they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. They're going to ignore you. You want to build up that evidence knowing that you're going to send this land patent in and they're going to go like this. The county's going to go like this. You should already be prepared for that, and you should already be preparing for that. And then the land patent's done. You've already sent in all this other stuff. You've already gotten fuck you responses. You send the land patent. This is it. This is the final straw. This is not value and consideration. This is the land patent. If I get one more thing from you, or if you do not take down my property listed on the county's website in 30 days, we're going straight to litigation. Everything's prepared, and then boom, you're going to take that whole thing and you're going to write up the complaint. You're going to have all the evidence, all the sections of evidence, and you're going to go straight to litigation, and you're going to beat the piss out of the county. Now, if you have to go into litigation, it's not, please, it's not just about not paying property taxes. That's not what we're talking about here. Please don't do that. You gave them orders. They involuntarily enslaved you. They put you through peonage, which there's a Title 18 version of peonage. Don't use that one. I made that mistake already. Title 18 is all for criminal only. If you want the civil version, I believe it's 42 U.S.C. 1994. Peonage abolished, right? This is the one that you're going to use in a civil case, 42 U.S.C. 1994, okay? So if they don't do it and they don't follow your orders, do not just try to get them to remove. That is so dumb. That's so dumb. These people are fucked in the head, bully, psychopath pieces of shit. You have to, it's not about revenge. It's about justice. Don't just, I want to get my property off the fucking, no. No. I don't even want to hear it. Before, that was a win for us. That's not a win for us anymore. They need to feel tremendous amounts of pain. Please go to the press. Go to the sheriff's office. Go create an online campaign with a website. Go fucking ballistic. Sue the fuck out of them for millions of dollars. This is not about revenge. This is about the fact that if you walk away and you don't take punitive measures to create justice, they're going to keep doing this shit to other people, and they may even swing back around and do it to you again later. I've heard about that too, where the county goes away for a while, then they come back. You need to be not through revenge, but through the eyes of justice and correction and what is just and what is right and what is honorable. You need to be essentially a paladin of truth. What that means is you need to be paid very, very, very well. You're basically a consultant, and you're cleaning up these rogue agencies that are not following the laws of the land. They're attempting to put you into a state of peonage, and they're attempting to break fiduciary duties and breach of contract by continuing to force you to be in a contract of which value and consideration has already been clarified. That's illegal as per the 13th Amendment. That's illegal as per peonage here. That's illegal as per Title 18 peonage. Human trafficking, peonage, slavery, and trafficking in persons. All of these, forced labor, enticement into slavery, peonage, sale into involuntary servitude, all of these felonies would be a part of that. Civil remedy. An individual who is a victim of a violation of this chapter may bring a civil action against the perpetrator. Oh, this is interesting. I was looking for this for a long time. Let me just take a look at this real quick. Oh, interesting. 18 USC 1595. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong about this. Maybe I fucked up in my Amex case. An individual who is a victim of a violation of this chapter may bring a civil action against the perpetrator or whoever knowingly benefits or attempts to conspire to benefit financially or... Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I thought I saw this ages ago. And I looked for it for a long time and I couldn't find it. This is epic. Okay. Let me... Ooh, thank you. I gave up looking for this. Woo, boy. Woo! Beautiful. 1595. Civil remedy for slavery, peonage, etc. Fantastic. Fantastic. Wow, fantastic. Fantastic. That is going to go, oh boy, I am going to put in, I might even put in a motion for reconsideration on my Amex case based on this. Holy shit. I'll get into all that stuff later with you guys. This is involving my consideration. Holy shit, this is awesome. I thought I was just hallucinating this. I could not find this anymore. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I always have good things happen whenever I do these videos with you guys. So what this means is typically Title 18 codes cannot, like in my Amex case, you'll see I went through and I actually changed my original complaint because I put a bunch of these things in there and they said, oh, there's no private right to action on those. Private right to action means that, most Title 18 things you have to, oh, my head's just going crazy right now. Most Title 18 things, it's all criminal. So you have to actually write an indictment and you have to get it approved through the local DA's office. I don't really know exactly how it works. We're trying to learn a lot of that right now. So typically Title 18 can't be used in civil proceedings. Like I want money for things like civil proceedings. But this is civil remedy right here. I could have sworn I saw this at one point in time and then I spaced out. So when it says civil action in this chapter, it's talking about this chapter 77. It's talking about all this stuff: peonage, enticement into slavery, sale into involuntary servitude, seizure, forced labor. You can use all of these, by the way, also on any employer that will not remove your federal, state, Social Security, FICA, any of those taxes from your paycheck, coming out of your paycheck every month. If you file new documents like the WBEN or whatever, and they deny it, I'm just realizing this right now in my head, you can go and you can actually say that they're actually committing, this is a pretty strong thing to start threatening, so just keep in mind, you're going to either terrify them or they're going to fire you. But it's a pretty strong move, but you can use it. You can say Title 18 Code Chapter 77, this entire section would apply. That would be forced labor. That would be sale into involuntary servitude. That would be enticement into slavery. That would be peonage. That would be trafficking with respect to peonage, slavery, because they're trafficking you into the Internal Revenue Code. That would also be unlawful unlawful conduct with respect to documents in furtherance of trafficking, peonage, slavery. Oh my Lord. Passport or other immigration document. No. This wouldn't apply. Passport. Immigration. Actually, that might, IRS forms maybe possibly would fit immigration document, because it does show, it's all about nationality and location. That might work. It's one of those things that, things that might work, you can always fight for. Benefiting financially, if they're benefiting financially by having you on their payroll or whatever. So all of these would have a civil remedy to them. And I just totally thought, I saw this and I did a bunch of research. I couldn't find it, so I wound up rewriting my original complaints. But now my mind's going a little bit wild. I'm actually going to make some adjustments to some of the upcoming lawsuits to add that. This is big. This is huge. Wow. Okay. Let me just refocus here for a moment. We've gone through all that. Okay. So that's all we're going to go into on, boy, that's big. Oh my God. That is so big. This changes like everything. And I thought that I was just hallucinating, but apparently not. Wow. Okay. So next thing we're going to get into is a bunch of more random shit here. The marriage license. So anything with the word license in it, remember, is permission to do something that otherwise would not be allowable. So a permission to carry a firearm. You got to start thinking about that. Second Amendment, right? I know you went over this before. Some things I may go over more than once, and I just forget. It's a lot of information, guys, to try to collect together and organize. It took me 5 weeks to write down this entire outline, and even that, I'm going through it and having to change it and alter it constantly. So I'm trying my absolute best to give you guys this information in the best way possible, and I'll tell you right now, this 2.0 course is, as those of you who have gone through the 1.0 course, is 1,000 times better. The 1.0 course was like a lost puppy in the woods, and I thought I really had it down. But 2.5 years of nonstop, or 2 years of nonstop work, constant focus. Well, this is what this is where I've gotten to. Okay, so let's see where I get in another 2 years. Okay, so marriage license. So the Second Amendment, right? The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, right? So you don't have arms. You talk about firearms. Everyone in the courts, they're all arguing about firearms. The stupidest fucking thing in the world. Okay, so you don't need a license for an arm if you are a non-U.S. citizen. Okay, but if you're a U.S. citizen and you have a firearm, you do need a license. Okay. But marriage license. So the plantation owners are telling you, you can even let's just for fun. Why do I need a license to get married? Let's just see. A marriage license is a legal document that serves as a permit to marry, and is issued by the county or state. It's also the state's way of officially recognizing the marriage. Without a marriage license, the government won't recognize the marriage, and the couple won't have access to legal rights and benefits such as joint taxes and spousal inheritance rights. Just by the way, you don't need spousal inheritance rights, and you don't need joint taxes. If you understand trusts and you understand how to build them and how to operate them, the benefits are 8 billion times more, and you don't need to pay anyone. You can do it all from home, and the marriage. Why? There's no benefit for you to get married. Marriage license. Okay. Now, back to me. I understand there are women out there who say, well, Brandon, the marriage license protects the woman in case something happens. That way the guy can't just leave and take all the money and take everything. It's all in his name, and she's just high and dry and fucked. That's probably true. The only problem is that you shouldn't be in any relationship where that is your concern. That's a very, very non-abundant, scarcity-based mindset. And if there is anyone out there who's kind of thinking along those lines, you really should not be dating, or maybe just get some dick now and then. You should really be focusing on yourself. You should really be focusing on your goals, where you want to take your life. You should be focused on gaining more of an abundant mindset. Like, for example, people talk shit about me all Not all the time, but sometimes. And they're like, oh, Brandon, if you have infinite money, why are you always wearing these stupid black T-shirts? And, oh, Brandon, if you have infinite money, why are you in a little apartment with this little piece of shit desk? Or hey, Brandon, why are you driving a 2009 Shelby GT500 if you've got infinite money and blah, 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 blah. Like I showed you before, I spent 130 grand on ads, okay? So first and foremost, I've spent most of my life very, very, very broke. I was working for my church as basically a volunteer, essentially. I was traveling around. I was living in kitchens and living rooms and closets or whatever I could, had very good people I was living with. Most of the places were pretty clean, pretty awesome. I had very little money. My parents were helping me for many, many years to pay for food and stuff. I was on food stamps and I was on unemployment for years and stuff. So I was basically just a volunteer, basically. And I chose my own life and I chose that life. And so it wasn't until I was about 30, I would say throughout all my 20s and into my early 30s, and I'm not kidding when I say this, I lived in Chicago, LA, and New York, and I was making $12,000 to $26,000 a year, I would say, and I was paying taxes and doing all the normal shit everyone else was doing. So my whole life, and when I was younger, as a kid, my parents had decent money, especially after my mom married the farmer guy, and I moved to Hebron, Indiana, like I was telling you earlier. My stepdad, him and I never really got along super well, but he was very, very great at. We did not get along either. It was just kind of like a whatever, you're there and I'm here and hi. That was basically our relationship most of the time. I was a computer nerd, metalhead, and he was a farmer and an insulation salesman. And he took work very seriously, and he was proud to be an American. And I was a computer nerd who wanted to chase women and couldn't figure that out. And I played heavy metal music on guitar, and I was learning music theory. So we couldn't have been farther from each other. But he did a really good job of raising me and giving me everything that I needed. And he helped me through a lot of my 20s when I was needed food and rent and stuff. And he paid for my food and my rent for many years while I was doing volunteer work and stuff. My point is that by the time I started making any money in the dental office, it was probably like 32 or 33 years old, because I was making money back in New York when I met that one dentist, but it was just for like a year or so, and I was living in a high-rise apartment and all this, so that was pretty cool. We were going out a lot. But in terms of my own money and having my own money, it wasn't until like maybe 32 or 33 when I started making like real money, and I had just not had much for so long. And for me, my version of being rich was having great friends. So people think like, oh, poor Brandon, he was so broke for so long and this and that and on food stamps and all that. No. I was in my own world, in my own mind, I was extremely wealthy. I had excellent, amazing friends all my life. I've always lived with, we're talking on the balcony, smoking cigarettes, laughing till 4 a.m, don't even want to go to bed. Every single night, this place and this place and this place and amazing women, dating amazing women, girlfriends, and living with their families, which I know something sounds kind of weird, but super amazing, huge organic dinners every single night, imported lamb from all around the world for these huge elaborate dinners every single night. And just, I've always had a very warm friend, girlfriend, family, whatever you want to call it, kind of relationship with like a small group of people throughout my whole life. So for me, I was never, that's all I wanted. So even now having my own apartment, which is very new, I've never lived by myself up until recently. That's brand new for me. Okay. At 38 years old, I moved into my first apartment by myself, at 37. I was living with roommates all the way through my life until 37 years old. Okay. So having an abundance mindset doesn't mean you have tons of shit. I have a friend of mine who's Iranian, and he built a whole bunch of huge companies, and he took them public and he sold them, and he's been a multi-hundred millionaire guy. I've known a bunch of these guys over the years for like 20 years, and he had this huge huge monster house with this like custom stonework as you walk in, and it's like a river underneath like glass and stone. And it's got these symbols when you walk in. I mean, just insane shit. Okay. And he actually sold all of that. He sold his house. He sold everything. And he moved to an apartment down here in downtown area. And I saw him probably about, I don't know, maybe like 8-9 months ago. And I said, oh, my God, how you doing, buddy? Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, you know what, Brandon? He says, I've had all this shit and this big, huge monster, $7 million house and all these Maybachs and Mercedes-Benz and all this stuff for so long. And he said, I just got tired of it. I sold everything. He said, come up here. I want to show you my apartment. I went up to his apartment. Bro, he had nothing. He had nothing. Like he had like pots, pans, one TV on the wall, a bed, and like a little desk and like some chairs, and that's it. And I said, we're. He said, bro, I've never been happier. I've never been happier. He said, I should have gotten rid of all that shit a long time ago. He says, I'm just tired of it. There's always something breaking and something to fix and something to do this, something to do that. So abundance versus scarcity mindset is a very, very interesting conversation because it's sort of like you can have very little, but then have a huge abundant mindset. And you can also do the opposite too, like these psychotic, I've heard tons of stories of these like psycho billionaires, these bankers and these oil people, and they won't even tip like the taxi drivers. They won't even tip like the doorman or anything. And the doorman and there's a lot of these kind of stories of like the guys in New York and stuff like that, right? So you can also have all the money in the world, and you can have a super, 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 super ultra scarce mindset. You've heard stories like Warren Buffett's a good example. People look at me and they go, why do you have an apartment? Why are you driving a 2009 car if you've got a bunch of money? Look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett still, I believe to this day, lives in a $140,000 house, little teeny itty-bitty house that he grew up in. And up until, I know even a few years ago, he was still driving an old Lincoln Town car or something like that he had from when he was younger, right? So this whole thing of getting back to the marriage license, getting into a marriage so that I can have things, right? The real issue is just your mindset. It's not that you don't have anything. It's just scarcity versus abundance. Like when I walk around and I see women, I look at women as though women are art in motion. They're art moving through the physical plane, right? So for me, I have a very, very abundant mindset about women and art because of the way that I perceive women as art in motion, right? So I have a very good relationship with women and art because of my own perception of abundance, okay? And I don't beat around the bush. I tell women all the time, like if I didn't love you and I didn't want to fuck you, I wouldn't be around you. Okay. It's very, very simple, right? I mean, I say it like, with a wink and a smile, and it's more playful, but I'm just saying like it's very clear, it's very simple, and that to me is an abundant. I don't have 10 girlfriends. I don't have 10 wives. I don't even have one. I don't even care. It's to me, I have an abundant mindset about women and art and sex and all these different things. It doesn't mean I need to have a bunch of it or a bunch of girls. You see how those two things can be like completely separated? So I have a 2009 Shelby GT500. I've done tons of work to it. One of the videos on my YouTube goes through a lot of the work. Supercharger, big ass supercharger on it. Take the mufflers off. Tons of suspension work and McLeod clutch and all this cool stuff, right? So plus that car has been through a lot with me, man. I've had that car since 2017, and I love the car. I love the car, man. I love the car. To this day, I still get excited when I get in the car. It starts up and it just sounds so damn good. I would never drive an automatic. You can't even get stick shift sports cars hardly anymore. So, I have this apartment, and as you can see, you can't see it, from the camera. There's nothing in here, bro. There's a bed, there's a little desk, there's a couple little computers, there's this piece of shit table here. It's like an $80 table. There's this fucking water thing. There's this fucking dumbass bullshit desk that I hardly even use. It's like an $80 desk. That's it, bro. And I have a beanbag chair here next to me. And I have this chair. This chair I got literally for fucking free from when I took over the landscaping company. There was a bunch of shit at the office, and this was there, and I took it, and I cleaned it, and I've had it ever since. So you could say to yourself, oh, well, Brandon has a scarcity mindset because he has enough cash and he has infinite money, and he should be accessing all these things. Well, when you really start to understand how all this works and you really start to understand infinite money, and you can have anything just by a pen, which I'm going to teach you later in the course, it kind of loses its excitement. It loses the sparkle. And you might say, well, I don't want to lose that sparkle. I understand. And that's the weird thing that happens with a lot of this information, is that with this information, you get more and more powerful and you have more control over your life, to a point where the sparkle and the excitement of certain areas of your life may fall away. And that's something that, you should be aware of. It can be kind of weird. It is a bit weird, because most people, especially in today's world, there's so much suppression and death involving all this stuff that we spend our whole lives just chasing after the next thing and chasing it and leveling up. And it's like, it's fun and it's exciting and it's all these different things. And then when you realize that whole system is a caste bullshit system based off of all lies, and then afterward you're just like standing there looking at your hands like, well, now what do I do? And I understand that. And that's kind of the process that I am going through and I had to go through. So with this whole marriage license thing and people being worried about, not being able to get the court's assistance, the real issue here is not about a marriage license of the courts or probate or divorce court or whatever the fuck it is, right? The real issue is that you shouldn't be marrying and dating until you should be working on yourself, and you should be enhancing and improving your own perceptions of things in a way to give you an abundance mindset about yourself and the world. Because if you had an abundant mindset, that wouldn't be a concern of yours at all. And that's the only concern I've ever heard anybody tell me as regards to the marriage license. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the only concern I'm gonna address in this course. I don't know of any other. I've never ever in 2 years, all the crazy people that I've talked to, all the angry people, I've never once had anybody tell me anything more than that one thing, and that's my answer to that one thing. So as far as I'm concerned, you can go online and it goes for men too. I mean, there could be a guy who's concerned about the woman who's got all the money too. I don't know. You see a lot more of that nowadays than you used to. So marriage license annulment. How does this work? A court order that declares a marriage or domestic partnership invalid. This means that it was never legally valid, right? Do that. I don't know. File this. To get an annulment, you have to prove what? Fraud. The spouse tricked the other into marrying them. Write up a document where the guy tricked the girl and the girl tricked the guy. Just make some shit up. Sue each other. Actually, that's pretty genius now that I think about it. Oh, this would be a great first experience for you guys in litigation, because you're literally just suing each other and you guys can pretend as though you're enemies in the courts, but in actuality, you're best friends. This is actually beautiful. This will bring you together as a couple. This will help you in litigation. Plus, it's going to help you get rid of your marriage license. This is beautiful. I should have thought about this. I've never done one of these. I've never looked into this too much, right? Ooh, incest. I'm from Indiana. I get excited about that subject. So I would do this. Go to your state and find out, how do I annul my marriage in blah, 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 blah. Have the husband write up an affidavit that the wife lied and tricked, and then have the wife write up an affidavit that the husband tricked. Both of you file in and sue each other or whatever in this little whatever court, and get a fucking court order that declares the marriage or domestic partnership invalid. Brilliant. Rather than going through a divorce. Divorce is like going forward and then cleaning it up. Annulment is like going backwards and then obliterating it at its source. I recommend that you go in the annulment direction, not in the divorce direction. Okay. Other licenses is all bullshit. Business, alcohol, barber. You don't need any of that. Fishing, driving, none of that. It's all permission to do something that you've already got permission to do. It's very stupid. Okay? Mail. So let's get into the mail real quick. So when you start sending mail, okay, you're going to send They're going to be sending, so these are your certified mail slips. You can get these from the post office, okay, that look like this, and they have these numbers on them, okay? I do not understand why every fucking photo everywhere has to be so fucking small, bro. So irritating. I'm going to pause the video in just a moment if I can't find something decent here. Okay, you can order them online even. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Let's do this. So, okay, cool. Here we go. So you can order these online. These are called PS 3800s. You can see that here, form 3800. Okay. You can order a maximum of 75 packs of 10. You for sure don't need anything like that. Maybe order 30 or 40 or 50. I just get them from the local post office, personally. They look like this, but minus all the red shit. So you won't have any red here. You won't have any red here. You won't have these red lines. You won't have this red line, and you won't have this red line. So minus all the red. This is what it's going to look like, okay? This number, the certified mail number, which is 1234, 1234, 1234, 1234, 1234 digits, all through here, that's the number that you put on all of your mailing documents. For example, if you go onto all my shit, right, the Amnesty Coalition, and you go to resources and documents, let's say, for example, the revocation of election document. Okay, so the revocation of election document is going to go certified mail. So what you do is you take one of these. You have a bunch of these at home, and you take one of them, and you take all the numbers from it, and you put all those numbers here on the form. So you're going to need two 3800s, two of these, one for this guy, and one for this guy. And you're going to put the number associated with each mailing here. And then the next one here for the other mailing. And then when you go to the post office, you got to make sure that the correct 3800 goes with the correct parcel. That way you have a record of which one's getting mailed to where, and then when they get signed for, you have all those records and all that stuff, and that's going to be all of your evidence that you're building up for all your lawsuits that you're going to be filing, hopefully. Like I said, I'm not forcing you to do lawsuits. You can do all this stuff all the way up, right up to lawsuits, and never walk into lawsuits, and you'll still get a lot done, and you'll have a very different life. But boy, I'm telling you, you are missing out on some real fun if you never get involved in lawsuits, okay? So lawsuits is the most empowering, fun, incredible thing. Also the most terrifying, but you know, I'm a motorcycle guy, so for those of you out there that are adrenaline junkies, my skydivers and my motorcycle people, you're going to be very, very happy with your new life as an aggressive litigant. I promise you. 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 I can't promise you anything more in this life. You're never going to need Viagra again. I don't care if you're 170 years old. You'll never pop another dick pill, gas station Rhino 9000 ever again for as long as you live. I fucking promise you. And women will not be complaining about your sex drive. So, I mean, I consider litigation to be a very penetrating energy, which is essentially a masculine energy, which is why I hear a lot of women tell me, you know, I don't really want to do litigation. It makes more sense to me. Men not wanting to do litigation, just real quick, I'll say this again later. I think litigation is a rite of passage for men. I think that men don't have a rite of passage in the West. A rite of passage is defined as like something that essentially converts a boy into a man. We have a lot of boys running around, as I'm sure you've noticed, right? I feel like litigation or some kind of hand-to-hand combat. So it could be like MMA or boxing or bare knuckle fighting or Muay Thai or some sort of hand-to-hand combat or litigation. I feel like one or the other is sort of like what turns a boy into a man. This is my own personal like philosophy, okay? So for me, litigation is, for me, I turned into a man at 37, 38 years old. That's when I turned into a man. I was a boy all my life until I did litigation, and now I'm a man. Okay, so that's the way I look at it. You can see a lot of it even in the first course. Watch the first course, and you'll see he's a boy. Now watch this course. You'll see something happened. He's a man. What occurred was litigation. Okay, so that's my own personal opinion on this. Back to mail. So certified mail, if you're sending live important documents, such as like actual titles to your car, certificate of title, like originals that you can't easily get another copy of, like you can't just print up another, like with this, you can just, if something happens to it, you can just print off another one. Who cares, right? So you can just use certified, it's okay. But let's say you're going to send in a certificate of title, or like you're going to send in like a bill of exchange into the IRS to discharge IRS bills, which we're going to get into more in the financial section. You would use what's called registered mail. Registered mail is more expensive. It's also, from what I've heard, harder to get the little stickers and get the numbers, so you may have to have some difficulty with that, right? But registered mail sticker looks like this. It's red, and it's got these numbers on it, and from what I hear, it's hard to get them now compared to before. This is the registered mail number, RR651. So this is the number that would go on registered. So for example, if you're going to be sending in what's called an unconditional order to pay into the IRS, don't get too crazy about this right now. We're going to get into this more later on the financial videos, but you can get any IRS debt to simply vanish using this document, okay? Now, if you notice, it doesn't say certified mail, it says registered mail. And the reason why is because you're going to take one of the IRS bills and you're going to hand write what's called an endorsement, which we're going to get into later. Don't worry too much. We're going to get into all that in great detail on the face of the instrument, and you're going to be mailing in a wet ink endorsement on the actual unconditional order to pay. So that's why you send that in registered mail. If you send someone, let's say, a birth certificate or like some kind of original artwork piece, or like a hand-signed book that might be extremely difficult to replace, or let's say a gold coin. Here's a gold coin someone sent me. Beautiful, beautiful gold coin. I love these coins. I have coins all over my whole desk. I try to immerse myself in money as much as I can. A passport that's really going to be hard to replace. You would send all those things registered mail. And on the first course, I went on this whole long thing about all this other shit. I'm not even sure all that's even true anymore. I don't know. But I know just it's very simple. Registered mail, it goes in like a special lock safe thing. It's more expensive. It takes longer to deliver. It's like armed guards or some shit or something, like a whole different line of the mail carriers take it. That's more secure. So for those kinds of items and those kinds of things, you should be sending all of that registered mail. You want to send your friend some silver coins, send them registered mail. You want to send your friend original copies of a stock or bond that's been endorsed or released to him, or securities, original copies of securities, or really, really valuable items such as original patents, or I don't know, original policies for insurance that can't be replaced easily, checks that are blank checks, anything that could be stolen and used against you, anything like that should all be sent registered mail. But most of the stuff that we're going to be sending is going to be certified mail. Okay? Certified mail is also great. It's secure. It's pretty solid. It's all good. And if something happens to it, which is very doubtful, we can just print off another one of these and do another notary and send it in. It's not a big deal. Can you send this stuff registered just because you want to? Sure. Nothing's stopping you. I just don't see the point. Okay? So the other thing you're going to need is priority mail envelopes, USPS. Okay. think you can order these online for free as well. Priority. Let me see here. You can go to the post office. You can get these for free as well. This is what I used to send. I used to buy envelopes, and then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Real quick, side note on this, there are guys out there that are teaching how to send registered and certified and priority mail for free by writing some stuff on the upper right side of the envelope. I don't teach that, and the reason why is because it works like 50% of the time, and you never know if it's going to work or not. So yes, that stuff is workable, but it's completely random whether or not it'll actually make it to the other party that you're trying to send mail to. So I don't personally recommend that you try to do free mail. If you are extremely broke, then go ahead and go online and learn about that. And you can use that, and then just you're going to have to end up, I don't know why you find that your own time is so invaluable, because you're going to wind up resending shit quite often. It's not something that I personally recommend that you do. And then also the one relationship in this world that you want to have an excellent relationship with at all times is your post office. By doing that, there's a very strong chance that you're going to upset the relationship with your post office. Anything that upsets your relationship with your post office, in my opinion, is very, very stupid. If I could go back to the beginning again and do everything all over again, every 6 months, I'd be sending an edible arrangement package to my post office. I mean, they love me because I'm just so nice to them and I'm always in there. But I'm just saying, you want to have an excellent relationship with your post office. So these are free. The envelopes by themselves, you can just order them. I don't know why they're not free online. I'm sure if I kept looking, I could find them. But anyways, you can go to the post office. You can get a whole bunch of these for free. This is what you're going to be using to mail out all your stuff. They're free. So these are free, and the 3800s are free. And then what you're going to get is you're also going to get PS 3811s. Okay? These are also free. Okay? And they look like this. Okay? So you're going to write who the article is addressed to here. You're going to write, and then here it says service type. Okay? Now what you're going to do pretty much every single time you send anything, you're going to do this one here, adult signature. Now you can do a check mark, but even more clearly, just fill in the little box fully, like a little color by number. Just color in the whole box. Don't do a check mark, because if you do a check mark over here, it can kind of go up into the other boxes and someone get confused as to which one it is. Just be very careful and just color in the little box fully with black or blue ink. You're going to do adult signature, and then most of the time you're going to do certified mail, this one here. Maybe I can zoom in on this. Let me see if I can zoom. Can I get a better view of this with you guys? Oh, here we go. 3811s. Pack of 10 is free. You can get up to 75 packs of 10, right? Or you can just go to the post office and just ask for them, and they'll hand you a fucking stack right there. It's very easy to get your hands on these. You're going to do adult signature, certified mail, and then you're going to do signature confirmation TM, trademark. Now what that's going to do is on the back of the the PS 3811, you're going to write your return address. And what's going to happen is when the individual or the agent or the receptionist gets this parcel, they're going to sign here, and then the guy is going to tear this green little card off the parcel after they sign it, and it's going to get returned. This actual green. Let me grab a couple for you. I will show them to you. Give me 1 second. So you can see here, these are all the recent ones I've gotten back. This is just the recent. I have a huge stack like this of all the stuff I've done. I staple them together with a lot of the receipts, and I try to keep everything super organized for litigation purposes. This is all information collection, evidence collection. This is all pre-litigation work that you're going to be doing. Okay, this is super important. You want to make sure you get all these, right? So I'm going to go up to the camera silently, and I'm going to show you some of these, and I'm going to show you what they look like when they come back from wherever they're going, okay? That's the back side. That's the back side of that first one. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you one more thing. Let me pause this for just a moment. So if you look here on the 3800 or the 3811, what's happening is that there's this little sticker part at the very, very top. That part they pull off and they stick it on the 3811, and that's where this comes from. I'll show it to you. So this top part right here, this is a little tiny little white sticker across here. They take that off and they stick it on here like this. See here? That's a sticker. See it? God damn it! You can kind of see it. So they'll help you with all this. If you just take it on there and give it to them, they'll stick it on there and peel it all off and do everything for you. I'll show you a few more of these. Now, when you send one of these out, it could take 2 to 9 weeks to get one of these green cards back. And there's been like once or twice over the past 2 years where I ended up getting it back like 8-9 months later. It must have gotten lost in the mail or something, but I did get it back eventually. All of these are either novations or FOIA requests or collecting evidence for a lawsuit or something, okay? So this is one that I got like ultra late. This one, I believe I sent this one like in like March of 2023 or something crazy, and I just got it back. It says delivered 6/27/24. Not very common that you see that kind of a thing, but it can happen. I'm going to pause the video. Well, actually, no, I'll just set them over here. So this is just the recent ones. This is just from the past few weeks. Okay, give me 1 second. So the reason why you put the number on the document and the reason why you send it certified mail and make them sign for it is because that's evidence that they got it for your litigation, your lawsuits, all your good stuff, right? That's mail, bro. I mean, free envelopes, free 3011s, free 3800s, and then you put it all together, and then you stick it in the envelope, and then you can go to the front desk there and you can just give them everything and have them help you put it all together. That can be a little bit confusing. As long as it's all filled out, they'll build it all for you right there, right? And you can kind of ask them how it works, and it's pretty simple. And then at that point, you would pay for everything. It's all free up until that point. And then when you send it, you're going to spend probably $15 to $20 for each mailing, something like that. It can get a little expensive. Like I said, if you want to try to get the free mailing stuff, I really wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it. You're just going to waste a lot of your time. If you consider your time to be very unvaluable, then I suppose walk down that path, okay? Birth certificate and social security number for your kids, don't bother. Don't get into that shit. You can just give them a fake name at the hospital if you're real worried about it. Just name the kid whatever, bullshit, and then just never speak that name ever again. I don't know. You could do that. I would never get a birth certificate or a social security number for my kids. Just not needed. Okay. You just fill out that DS-10 passport affidavit, the birth affidavit, and you can get your kids a passport. That's all they need. They don't need anything else. They can live just like anybody else, me or anybody else, with just that passport. That's all they need. Okay. We've gotten little babies' passports. Their whole fucking body is the picture on the passport. It's very cute. Cards and books. Very, very cute. Okay. Common misconceptions. The 3 to 5 star passport thing. Like I said before, I think that was wrong from the first course. I do apologize for that. I don't know. I've seen a lot of success with the 3 stars and the 4 stars, and people get upset because they're only getting 3 stars or 4 stars. If you get a 3 or a 4 or whatever, just use it for a while, play with it, review the forms that you sent in. You should scan everything before you submit anything anywhere. Everything should be scanned. You should have timelines. You should be very organized. You need to be very, very organized with all this stuff, guys. Very, very organized for your litigation. Form 56. This is a form that I talked about in the first course. This is how we used to do our old revocations of election, IRS Form 56. It's not the worst thing in the world, and I'm not even going to get into the form, but just don't do it anymore. It's just not needed. It's not a bad thing, and for those of you who have sent in this form, I recommend that you just pretend as though you never did, and I recommend that you go onto my website, theamnestycoalition.org. I didn't have any of these documents in the first course. I had nothing to offer you. So now, rather than the Form 56, I recommend that you use this revocation of election right here. Get this. Print this off, download it, edit it, print it off, notarize it, and mail it in to the various addresses on here, certified mail. I think there's 2 different locations. So you need 2 3800s and 2 3811s. Don't use the Form 56. It's not like don't use the Form 56. I'm like blah. Like the W4T. Remember I was telling you about that? Don't use the W4T. Bad, very bad. Not very bad, just bad. Just don't do it. It's not going to get you anywhere. The Form 56 is like whatever, but just don't use it. Okay? 1099A form. I'm going to show you some of this. Okay? And, we're going to get more into this financial stuff later, so I don't want to get too deep into this, but let me if you go to we're going to get more into this later, so just this particular part, I just want to do this for the people who have watched the old stuff. for the new people, I want you to just chill for a second. This might be a little bit complicated, but I need to do this. And I'm going to get into this with you guys more right in the next section of this course. So just, this is the first part where I may want you to, I'll try to explain as best I can without it going over your head and everything. But if it does a little bit, don't worry. Don't worry. This next part in the course, we're going to hit this real good. Real good. Let me see here. So this is, so I'm just going to talk really simple about this. And then, like I said, we're going to get into this in the next section of the course in great detail. So if you and I were to go into a contract and I was going to loan you $10,000 and you were going to put up this gold coin. I was going to loan you $2,000 and you were going to put this gold coin up as collateral. It's a beautiful coin, by the way, man. It feels so nice. If you don't pay back, then I can come and get this gold coin from you, right? This gold coin becomes the collateral on that particular loan situation, okay? And like I said, we're going to get into all this later, so just stay with me at the simplest level. Hey, Brandon, I want $2,000. Fine, I want this gold coin as collateral. If you pay me off, I don't have the collateral anymore. I don't have access to it. But if you don't pay me off, I can come and get this as collateral. Okay. Now, what we have now from that agreement is we have what's called a security interest. Now, if you want to what's called perfect that security interest, you go to the Secretary of State website. It costs about $5. It takes about 5 minutes. And you fill out this very, very, very simple form called a UCC1 financing statement. It says what's the debtor's name and what's the creditor's name, which is also called secured party, and then what is the collateral. And we're not going to get into this long thing that I'm showing you right now. I'm just telling you the simplicity of what this is. I would put in here, description would be one gold coin. I would put in there Liberty 2023 gold coin, 1 ounce, 0.9999 gold, $50 coin, Indian face on front, buffalo picture on back with "In God We Trust" text. That would be all the wording that would be in this description section of the UCC1 financing statement, okay? Now, if you look at a 1099A form, it looks very similar, right? This is the form that everyone's talking about and going fucking ballistic and blah, 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 and trying to get copies of and everything. What do you have? Lender's name, lender's TIN number, borrower's TIN number. So you have a lender and a borrower, street address, description of property, fair market value, balance. So what does this show? It shows debt. That's why people are saying, well, is this a debt instrument because it shows debt? Maybe it is or maybe it's not. I'm not totally sure, but people are getting all crazy about this, and everyone's talking about this, and I'm not so sure about this, and I've never really seen anybody go anywhere. I've sent probably $12 million in 1099A parcels to the Treasury trying to follow the instructions and do all the stuff and do everything, and I just don't think that this goes anywhere. And I don't even know if this is an instrument, which we're going to get into in the next section. So just, if you hear about this whole 1099A thing and you hear about these Social Security accounts and you hear about all this stuff and the secured party creditor, dude, this SPC stuff, I'm sorry. I have some really great people that I know that are involved in this secured party creditor thing. And it's this big, huge, complicated system. We have to do all these filings and it's super crazy and chaotic. And you got to go to 2-week seminars that cost $6,000 and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I did one too because I was like, fuck it, I'll do anything that I can get my hands on. I spent like $30,000 on just anyone who sold me anything, anywhere, on any of this stuff. But if you look here, a secured party or secured party creditor is just simply the person's name who's named as the creditor on a UCC1 financing statement and who has access to whatever collateral is mentioned in the UCC1 financing statement. To me, that's all a secured party is. And then you start getting into, like we went into earlier with the whole Social Security thing, where they're like, you is defined as a person who has a debt. So where would your name be on this UCC1 financing statement? It'd be under the debtor's name, but it would be the all caps name, right? Anyways, my point is, I'm just trying to get you guys to realize in this course that this whole 1099A secured party, all this stuff, I'm not so sure about this stuff, guys. I used in the first course I talked about it quite a bit. 2 years of abuse and 2 years of failures and 2 years of not even being 1 inch closer to solutions. I don't think so, guys. I could be wrong. We could do a 3.0 course at some point in the near future, in 2 years, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. But I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot of information here in this next part of the course regarding negotiable instruments and infinite money that we really have nailed down beautifully. And so if I can get you away from the secured party creditor stuff, away from the 1099s, A's, away from all that stuff for now, and just clear your mind for this next part of the course, I'd really appreciate that, because I think it's going to be really, really good for you. Okay, guys? So that's it for this video. Now we're going to be getting into infinite money and financials. That's the next part of this course. So I will see you guys at video number 12. See you later.